Good afternoon. The Kenya shilling opened trade this morning at 130 shillings to the greenback. This is Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1 and I am Regina Manyara. Now, a section of elders and political leaders drawn from Tana River County want its two major communities of Oroma and Pokomo to consider intermarriage as a means of conflict resolution. The leaders noted that conflict tension between the two communities was hampering development in their villages, calling on the two communities to bury the hatchet over their past experiences.
The Kilelengwani massacre of 2012, which saw 150 people killed, among them 9 GSU officers, is one of the examples of conflict between the Oroma and the Pokomo in recent memory. The events of the time were seen as evidence pointing to perversion, with tension due to mistrust between the two communities. It is for this reason that community leaders and local politicians are coming together for a common cause.
Sisi tunataka mumalize ile uhasama ambao kwa uko. Tangu leo mufungue ukurasa mwingine.
Speaking in Kilelengwani during the declaration of the Kilelengwani Peace Treaty, the leaders noted that several development projects have also lagged behind due to conflict, however saying the situation can be changed.
Wacha Kenya nzima ione tunataka watu wa West Pokot, tunataka watu wa Turkana, tunataka watu wa Rift Valley. Waone Tana River imeonyesha mfano wa kujitafutia amani wenyewe bila serikali kujileta.
Tunataka kulima mbegu ya amani. Mimi najua watu wa Kilelengwani mnapendana sana. Hiyo fitina sijui imetoka wapi.
And now, symbolically, the leaders, elders and members of the two communities washed their hands in a traditional jar and pot as a symbol of washing away the past. The ceremony, presided over by elders from both communities, involved confession, reconciliation and a declaration of everlasting peace, with intermarriage resolved as the binding factor between the two communities in what has come to be known as the Kilelengwani Peace Treaty. Alanauko, Lunchtime News.
Definitely, love might be the solution to end the prevailing conflict. Now, still looking at what is happening within the Tana Delta, we're joined live by our reporter Teresa Mutai, who's in Tana River North, where the World Vision is undertaking an initiative to buy off livestock from traders on ground. Good afternoon, Tess. Bring us up to speed in regard to where that program and how far you've come in that particular program. To you.
Well, hello there, Regina Manyara. We are coming to you live from Tana North Sub-County, where currently there is a program, Livestock Offtake, ongoing. World Vision, together with its partners, undertaking this program to help cushion communities here who are facing adverse effects of drought. This county is one of the counties that has been hardest hit. Right now, while I'm speaking, I could tell you the temperatures are very high. The ground is literally burning. And we will be interacting with a community member, Rukia Hassan, who will be telling us how the situation here in the ground has been. Rukia Hassan, tafadhali njoo hapa. Na hali ya ukame imekuwa aje na mmeathirika kivipi?
Hali ya ukame ni mbaya sana. Tulikuwa na ukame sana. Tulikuwa na ukame sana kwa sasa. Ng'ombe wote wamemalizika, hatuna chochote, tunaishi tu hivi. Hakuna serikali inatusaidia sisi kwa hapa. Umesikia? Kwa hivyo tuko na ukame sana na tuko na shida. Kama mimi bwana wangu amekufa, kama maka 10 ako kwa kabrini. Sasa mimi ninajitegemea kukata madenge kusomesha utoto. Umesikia? Shida ni hiyo tu.
Na basi mmekuja hapa leo.
Hapa tumekuja kwa msaada mwingine, wafadhili wametuletea hapa. Ndio tunaanza kuchukua.
Also, we are joined by Oyoko, who is a member of World Vision, is a disaster manager. So, Oyoko, currently, join me, please.
Thank you.
So, why are you implementing this program here?
First of all, thank you for being around to highlight the situation that is quite dire in this community. Just a brief background. Due to four seasons of rainfall that this county has experienced, the effect of the drought has been so devastating in this county. And World Vision Kenya, with the support of the U.S. government through the Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance, secured some funding to be able to address issues that can mitigate the drought effects in this county. And today we've converged in Sala ward of Tana North sub-county, and we are doing animal offtake in conjunction with our partners from the national government as well as the county government, with whom we've been working with very closely since the inception of this project back in September 2022. The animal offtake project or activity is quite important to us because it addresses three issues. The first one is because it's preceded with some education to the livestock farmers, it's helping them to be able to do stock management so that they can be having the quite good number of stock that the land capacity can carry and sustain. You realize that due to droughts, there's been so much influx from other counties, livestock keepers coming in from Isiolo, as far as Mandera and Wajir, and next door from Garissa. And these are put more pressure on the available pasture as well as water sources. And due to this, it's necessary that we do the stocking, and we are urging the community members through education that we do the stocking at the correct time so that they remain the number of stock that they can sustain. And this one also helps them having, if they do it on time, it means they'll be saving their livelihood assets which are productive, because the mainstay of this community is largely livestock. Over 70% of the household are livestock keepers. So if they have money in their houses or in their wallets, we can be sure that the child will have food on the table. And as World Vision, the child is so central to our work, and it's so dear to us that with this particular exercise, we are actually improving access to nutritious food for the child. And this means the child can attend school and be ready and actively learn. For the girl child, because this project is integrated, the emergency response activity project is integrated, we are also supplying safe and potable water to this community. It means also the girl child doesn't have to track long distances in search of water. She can also be at home doing homework like the male child. So we appeal to other partners as well as the public institutions to come on board also, because the station is quite dear, and as we are speaking, upwards of 193,000 persons are in need of emergency food aid. So if nothing is done very fast, so many will fall into that crisis, and that's why we are here this day.
Thank you very much. So the program is still ongoing. As you can see at my back, animals are being slaughtered, and the community members are they are going to share the meat that is being given out to them. That's why they've gathered here. This will still go for a while. We will be giving you more details in our subsequent bulletins. For now, it's back to you. My name is Teresa Mutai, reporting live from Tana North Sub-County.
Thank you very much, Teresa, for that particular update. Now that you've said that the ground is literally burning, I hope you have the adequate, shoe wear to keep yourself safe from injury. Now, from Tana North, we take you down to Mombasa, where parents and guardians have been urged to prioritize investments in their children's education. Speaking during a prize-giving ceremony at Madrasatul Nema in Likoni, Mombasa, County Area Leader Hamisi Kitaka noted that parents fully taking up their responsibilities to educate their children will help ensure more children successfully go through the education system and improve education standards in the area.
Mtoto yote akisoma dini kwanza huwa anakuwa na imani, anajua hili ni baya, hili ni zuri. Kokote, hata mtoto akiwa ni Mkristo ama ni Muislamu, lakini kidogo akilalia kwa dini huwa anapokuwa na imani. Special sisi Waislamu, kwa sababu tunajua watoto wakishasoma dini anajua kuna madhambi, nikifanya hichi dhambi, nikosa hichi dhambi. Kwa hiyo watoto wetu wengi wanakosa dini, ndio maana wanakuwa wanaingilia magrupu mabaya, wanavuta unga, wanavuta bangi.
Needy students in Mandera East constituency will benefit from bursaries worth 20 million shillings through the National Government Constituencies Development Fund. And while launching the bursaries issuance, Mandera East Member of Parliament Hussein Waitan expressed his determination in improving access to education through funding for needy students in secondary schools and institutions of higher learning. The NGCDF Mandera East has also disbursed National Hospital Insurance Fund contributions worth 15 million shillings to benefit 2,500 families with medical care.
Na hiyo bazari itasaidia vijana wetu wengi wameenda college na university, na ningemwambia asante sana vile unaendelea naye mheshimiwa, endelea naye na tunafurahia ile kazi umetuletea.
Kile kitu tumefurahia sana ni mambo ya kuongea na wananchi, akina mama, akina wazee. Ni mtu mmoja wa roho na tunamwombea Mungu amweke, na pia hiyo pesa tuongezewe iwe mingi, maana 2,500 ni kidogo.
It is not enough. What we have is now 5%. It is now 2.5%. We want to increase it to 5% so that we can double up. Make it at least 300 million for each constituency. That way, I know I will have at least 5,000 for NHIF, and at least allocate not less than 78 million for bursaries alone.
Now, away from matters education into matters climate, where climate change is continuing to manifest and groundwater sources now remain the next frontier as a main source of water to sustain life. For Turkana County, it is a story of contradictions that while the county is classified as arid and semi-arid land, it also holds some of the largest quantities of groundwater reserves in two aquifers, Napu and Lotikipi aquifers. Judith Akolo with the details from Turkana County.
The sandy and hilly Lodwar town stands perched, surrounded by the imposing stony hills. But this town in Turkana County, classified as an arid and semi-arid lands county, is sitting on a freshwater aquifer. The Napu aquifer, with a capacity of over 10 billion cubic meters of water.
The beauty with groundwater is there is no evaporation. So once it gets recharged, it is kind of protected from the usual weather parameters.
It's an alluvial kind of aquifer that we rate to be very vulnerable.
Moving around Lodwar town, one notices the many water bowsers that dot the town, waiting for the call to deliver the precious commodity. Some drive into Moi Stadium to fill the tanks with water from River Takwel that snakes through the town.
We've done piping over 6 kilometers, and we have raised tank within the aquifer to serve the people within that area.
An organization known as REACH, improving water security for the poor, in collaboration with the University of Nairobi and Turkana County government, is working on modalities to ensure that the vulnerable households are able to access clean drinking water.
For the county government to follow it to the latter on how the measures they need to take to protect the aquifer system.
But with a growing population in Lodwar town and its environs, there is fear that the aquifer could be contaminated due to poor sanitation and the use of pit latrines.
And one of the issues that I'm focused on is to develop mechanisms where all our water sources are not contaminated.
We'll do what we call community sensitization, to sensitize people who are living within the aquifer to move far from the aquifer because of its fragility.
The aquifer is recharged by River Kawalase with its catchment on Loima Hills Forest and River Takwel. The Napu aquifer is not the only one in Turkana County. The Lotikipi aquifer turns out to be the largest of the two, boasting of a capacity of over 70 billion cubic meters of water.
Haya maji hatutumii. Tumepata ripoti kwamba hiyo maji ni sunline. haitatumika na binadamu mpaka wasafishwe. Tumeongoja wasafishe to date. Sisi bado tunakaa tu tunangoja maji ya Lotikipi.
Nasinyono is one of the agricultural areas in the Lotikipi Plains. Here, they are dependent on rain-fed agriculture, even as they are sitting on a vast aquifer.
Lakini sisi tunajua tu kufika mwezi wa 3, sisi tunaweka tu mbegu yetu chini. Tutarajia mvua itakuja wakati wote.
On this day, the skies open, and when it rains, the plains of Lotikipi with their clay loam soils become impassable. It is tough here, as the impacts of climate change are evident, as when it rains, it is a storm, and when it doesn't, it is a drought. Calls for adaptation to climate change might be the answer to the plight of the people here.
That is a segment that I'll be airing every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Climate-centric matters of conservation as well as climate adaptation. Now, still keeping on matters of environment is that the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry has embarked on a tree planting program across the 47 counties to mark the 12th International Day of Forests. The ministry, through the Kenya Forest Service, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme and other stakeholders, spent the better part of the day at Kirete Forest, where they planted over 6,000 trees. The ministry plans to plant 581,000 trees under the program.
Speaking during the event to mark International Day of Forests, the Principal Secretary for Environment and Forestry, Ephantas Kimotho, said the ministry is working closely with stakeholders in the grassroots to achieve 15 billion tree planting goal by 2032.
Currently, the tree cover of the country is 12%, and that's why His Excellency the President the other day came with a strategy of 15 billion strategy to enable us get to 30%, to be able to address the mitigation effects of climate change, biodiversity loss and the land degradation, so that we can be able to reverse that trend of deforestation and land degradation in the country.
Yeah, but if we come together and if we really recognize this role, we plant trees, we really train also our communities that have so many knowledge, that's indigenous knowledge, we can really do well.
While encouraging Kenyans to plant trees to mitigate the effects of climate change, Kimotho said the government will develop a framework where carbon emission credits will be offered to those who have planted trees in their localities.
We've been encouraging people, especially farmers, to come up with water pans. These are ways of water harvesting, so that even when the rains are not there, we can also be able to have an extended period whereby even when we plant our trees, we'll still have water for that.
We come out in big numbers to take advantage of the current rains and plant as many seedlings as you are able to. We have enough seedlings all over our country, in all our stations, and they are available for planting. And we're also calling upon each person to plant at least 30 trees in a year. And we are going to attain the 15 billion in the next 10 years.
In his remarks, Larry Member of Parliament Mboro Kahangara urged the government to allow the communities living along the forest to be allowed to do flourish system cropping so that they can feed themselves while cultivating the forest. The day was marked under the theme Forests and Health.
So earlier on, Catholic bishops had called a presser to have a conversation, or rather give their views in regard to where the country stands in as far as matters of politics and the economy is concerned. Let's have a listen in.
We found it opportune to talk to Kenyans, to speak to ourselves and speak to Kenyans. And our concerns are going to be highlighted one after another. But we start with a statement of hope, which is Psalm 94 verse 7. 94 verse 7 reads, "Oh, that day you would listen to his voice, harden not your hearts." So, our dear Kenyans, we, the Catholic bishops gathered here at Donum Day, we want to greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. And as we gather, my dear Kenyans and people of goodwill, and as you well know, August last year, we did our part in electing our leaders. We prayed to God for a peaceful elections, and God heard our prayers. We thank God for the peace that we have enjoyed so far. And we want to say we are now looking at the Kenya we have 6 months later. The disarray and the disturbing scenes we witnessed on the 20th of March 2023, just a few days ago, makes us come back to address you, our leaders, our people, and all people of goodwill, both in government and those in opposition. Our current challenges, you know them, you have gone through them. We want to convey we had a very competitive elections, and 6 months down the line, the country is not yet settled politically. Even after declaring, or the declaration by the Supreme Court on the outcome of the elections, there are those who still dispute on who won the elections. Furthermore, the saga surrounding the 4 IEBC commissioners who had a contrary view on the elections results announcement had become a bone of
Have a comprehensive and detailed report in our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and at 9 p.m. Now, renovations of the Embu Stadium are ongoing in preparation for this year's Madaraka Day celebration that is themed Universal Health Care, and the refurbishment work is currently being undertaken by Modern Precast K Limited under the supervision of the Kenya Defence Forces at an estimated cost of 300 million shillings.
Speaking during an inspection tour, KDF Deputy Commander Construction Engineer Colonel Morris Owende said the work is on schedule and the renovations are set to be completed by mid-May, as most of the foundation work on the main pavilion and public terraces are complete.
The works are on schedule. Our target is by 5th of April, the main pavilion will be already, the framework or the shell will be complete up to the roofing system.
Owende further added that the precast concrete technology is fast-tracking the construction, as it had saved on time that would have been taken if done on site.
This technology is basically help us to reduce time by 60 to 70%, and also the quality and everything can maintain in this technology. So this is fast, and we are going to achieve our target.
We believe technology will assist us to realize the expected completion schedule as already indicated.
On its part, Embu County expressed optimism on the progress being made through its CEC in charge of lands, mining, physical planning, housing and urban development, Raymond Kinyua, who said the stadium will be complete on time and pave way for military rehearsals ahead of the national celebrations.
And we are glad to say that this is a project that is going to be delivered on time, and we are looking forward to host the Madaraka Day celebrations in this particular venue.
Once completed, the stadium will have a seating capacity of 8,700, with the main pavilion for dignitaries having a capacity of 1,700 people. Frederick Parsayo, Lunchtime News.
From Embu to Kilifi, where the county government has unearthed a major syndicate in which senior officials are collaborating with private clinics and chemists in selling drugs that are meant for public hospitals. According to the governor, several people have been arrested, and if found culpable, those private hospitals, facilities and chemists risk having their licenses revoked.
Speaking during the official launch of the County Mashinani program, Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro said the county officials involved in the scandal will be dismissed, while those facilities linked to the scandal, their licenses will be revoked.
Tumegundua kwamba kuna watu baada ya sisi kuleta madawa kile hospitali, sasa wameanza kuuza madawa. Bahati mbaya, zingine zinanunuliwa hata na hospitali zile za kibinafsi, zingine zinanunuliwa na chemistry. na tumesema kwamba wale ambao wamegunduliwa, kuna mmoja tayari mtu hapa mwenye zahanati ya kuuza madawa ameshikwa, mwenye chemist ameshashikwa, wengine wanaendelea kufuatiliwa ambao ni wafanyaji kazi wa county.
On the county mashinani program, Mungaro said it is a new style of work which will be implemented after every 3 months, noting that they have constituted 8 teams which will be dispatched to all sub-counties and will work closely with the ward administrators, chiefs and their assistants to bring services to the grassroots.
Leo tumeanzisha county mashinani. Hii ni mtindo mpya itakuwa kwa hii county ya Kilifi. Kila kota mawaziri, machief officer, mimi mwenyewe, deputy governor, kila mtu ataenda mashinani. This time we are doing it for 2 weeks. Malengo hasa ni kuleta huduma kwa wananchi mashinani.
Kilifi Deputy Governor Flora Chibule called on the CECs and chief officers to portray the good picture of their leaders while on the ground, as the aim was to ensure devolution was being implemented fully through the program.
As our representatives in the ground, I believe through this channel, pending bills pairs the conservation. And also, we will make sure that any project comes to fruition, so that when we are saying we are doing a certain project, we are sure that it's going to be complete.
However, the governor said he had extended the period for the task force probing the pending bills in the county after it emerged that the report of the Auditor General was differing from what the task force has established. For Lunchtime News, I'm Abdulaziz Abeid.
Now to Kajiado, where the County Assembly has impeached County Executive Committee Member for Education, Vocational Training, Youth and Sports, Jeremiah Olencharo. In the politically divided County Assembly, 21 members of the County Assembly voted in support of the impeachment motion against 20 MCAs who tried to save the officer. Olencharo was accused of abuse of office and misuse of public resources, among other accusations.
The embattled Kajiado County Executive Committee Member for Education, Vocational Training, Youth and Sports, Jeremiah Olencharo, was ousted after 21 members of the County Assembly voted in support of the impeachment motion against 20 MCAs who tried to save him.
Honorable members, the Select Committee report to remove from office the Honorable Jeremiah Olencharo, the current County Executive Committee Member for Education, Vocational Training, Youth, Sports, Youth and Sports in Kajiado County, pursuant to Section 40 of the County Government Act, number 17 of 2012, has been approved, having met the required threshold of a simple majority of the members.
Ncharo was accused of irregular bursary disbursement in violation of Article 201, formation of incompetent bursary committees, abuse of office, incompetence, and misuse of public resources contrary to Article 201. His plea to the Assembly refuting the allegations on the floor of the House fell on deaf ears.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm a subject of political rivalry. But it is important for each one of you to know that I am an individual, I have a life to live, I have a name to protect, and would like to beseech this House to spare me, because the mistakes that are there, that have been cited, does not amount to gross violation of the Constitution.
Public Service Executive Elias Kisota survived impeachment after the committee exonerated him from allegations leveled against him. With the rejection of the 3 executive nominees and impeachment of an extra CEC, Governor Lenku has appointed 3 CECs to hold in acting capacities in affected departments. Governor Lenku retained 7 of his first-term County Executive Committee members who were not subjected to the Assembly approval. Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Lunchtime News.
We are currently in the Global Money Week that runs from the 20th to the 26th. The question is, are you saving? If not, why? And if you are indeed saving, which saving platform are you currently on? That's a question that we're going to be putting into perspective right after this break when we discuss matters business. Do not go away.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial star 811 star 967 hash.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial star 811 star 967 hash. Star 811 star 967 hash.
Tumepata intel kwamba mmoja wa vijana wa Burhan is coming away to be smuggled into the country.
How credible is the intel, sir?
Very credible.
Nani?
The bomb maker.
HQ iko na reason ya kubilivia kwamba one of Burhan's lieutenants that was smuggled into a country through his border crossing.
Wazi.
Good afternoon. You're still watching the Lunchtime News here on KBC Channel 1. Now, the government has been urged to think of alternative sentencing of especially petty offenders. It says the current method of taking in all prisoners to jail results in government overspending to maintain the high number of people behind bars. Details of this and other stories from the County News Roundup.
Speaking to the press, the Principal Secretary for Correctional Services, Mary Muthoni, said there is need for the government to rethink sentencing of especially petty offenders to decongest Kenyan prisons.
Hii ni program kubwa sana ya kutusaidia ku decongest our prisons kwa sababu prisons zetu zimejaa vijana wadogo, vijana wa 35 years and below. Na hao ni vijana wenye wangekuwa wanafanya kazi hapa mtaani na vijijini, kazi yenye inaweza ikawasaidia.
Meanwhile, efforts to curb the spread of malaria in Migori County intensifies, with various partners in the fight against the vector-borne disease coming on board. They say they target 4,000 households in the campaign, which kicked off in 6 sub-counties of Migori County.
I know there is a lot of myths that have been going around about the spray and the drugs used to control malaria that are harmful, but they are very harmless. They have no any effect on human life apart from the effect in killing mosquitoes.
This work has contributed to protection of pregnant women and children under 5. The numbers that we can share are that in the spray last year, over 100,000 children were protected against malaria and 16,000 pregnant women were also protected against malaria.
Elsewhere, drama ensued at Malindi New Bus Park in Malindi Town, Kilifi County, after a private developer was stopped by the Kilifi County government from erecting a perimeter fence on land being used by traders. Traders had complained that the developer had evicted them from the lands where they had been conducting their businesses, despite the land belonging to the county government.
Sio kuvamia kama hivi. Tutafanya nini? Ukiiba afungwa. Ukitafuta jasho kama ile kazi ya garage wala haina malipo ni shida. Sasa hii kazi hapa haifanyiki. Hatuna kitu cha kufanya. Twaomba sisi maskini, sisi wanyonge tutetewe jamani.
Hatujui ya kwamba kuna mwenye amepeana ruhusa ujenzi huo uendelee. Kwa hivyo kufika sasa, kulingana na ofisi yetu ya Road Transport and Public Works na kwa niaba ya manispaa ya Malindi, tunasema ya kwamba hiyo kazi imesimamishwa kwa ghafla.
Finally, Kirinyaga Central Deputy County Commissioner Daniel Dege has given a stern warning to drug traffickers in Kirinyaga Central Sub-County, noting that distribution and consumption of bhang has been on the rise, with dozens of homesteads affected. Speaking during the issuance of checks through the Kirinyaga Central NGCDF worth 47 million shillings, he noted that the existence of drug traffickers in Kerigoya town is a threat to the younger generation. He called on the residents to volunteer information that will lead to the arrest of the culprits.
Kitu inaitwa ukunywaji wa pombe haramu, pombe mbaya.
na hiyo ndio inapoteza watu wetu. Pangi imekuwa kama ni maji. Sasa nataka kutoa onyo kwa wazazi na vijana, na mheshimiwa wako hapa, ako mstari wa mbele. Sasa hakuna mahali ya kujificha. Tutakuja tukukamate kama wewe ni unakunywa bangi ama unasafirisha bangi, utaosea jela.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Good afternoon. If you're still tuning in or if you've joined us, this is Lunchtime News, and we posed a question to you before we got to this side of the studio where we're going to be talking about our savings culture. The question is, are you saving? And if you're saving, what saving instrument are you using? Are you saving on your mobile money platform? Are you saving in the bank, at the SACCO? Where are you saving? And if you're not saving, why aren't you saving? This afternoon, it's all about inculcating a saving culture, focusing on the youth, given that it is a global money week that runs from the 20th to the 26th. And to take us through this conversation is none other than the Managing Director at Post Bank, Raphael Lekolol. Karibu sana, and thank you very much for your time.
Asante sana.
Let me just start off with a question that we're posing to our viewers this afternoon. Are you saving?
Yes, definitely.
Which instrument are you saving with?
I have instruments in banking. I have a savings account. I also save in government bonds, and I also have other, what we'd call the Kenyan saving of having a kaka plot somewhere.
So you've invested in an asset in its way of saving. Now, when we look at the saving culture where we are as Kenya, we are ranked very poorly. Why do you think we're not saving as we should?
Going to what this week is all about, Global Money Week, just teaching the young and giving them an opportunity to learn on how to save. We have been failing in terms of giving our youth and the young this idea that they need to be saving. And we have not really progressed in them appreciating the value of money and that there is a tomorrow that they need to plan for. When you look at this Global Money Week theme for this year is plan your money, plan to your future. It's a conversation that we need to be inculcating in our youth so that they know that there's a future tomorrow, that they will need money tomorrow. So this idea of spending all the money that you have today, forgetting that there's a tomorrow you will need to survive on, and there's money that you need to survive on tomorrow, is what's really lacking. So there's that culture of people not appreciating what savings is. And we are glad that this conversation is really coming on the table, especially with what His Excellency the President has been talking about in terms of savings. And when you look at the Hustler Fund, the way it's been structured, there is a savings component which is inbuilt in it, so that as much as you borrow, you still also have an opportunity to save and get a savings at the end of the day. So that's what's there.
But now your primary target is the youth, and they fall under the generation Z and X, who believe you live once. I get money today, I spend my money today, tomorrow will take care of itself. Yeah. Are you working on a program to actually, tweak? Because this, I think you're calling for mind change and behavior change among this primary target. Is there a particular program that is directed towards this so that they can come on board? It's one thing to say that you need to, but am I seeing the need to save?
Yes, Regina, we are working on that very much. And when you look at the products from where we sit, the products that have been put, especially to address the youth, the digital products to enable them to save, we've made it very, very easy, because we realized that from our generation where people would have to go to the bank and take money and bank in those banking halls, that generation is no longer the same. We have put digital platforms, and in conjunction with our other partners, we've enabled the youth to be able to save. When I look at some of the products that are there in the market, not just from Postbank, but from other banks, depositing funds in an account has been made very easy. All what you need to do is load your money into an M-Pesa account, and in 2 seconds it will be reflected in your account when you transfer it. So all those opportunities have been made. We've taken an extra step at Postbank to have agents in all our key areas. We have over 500 agents in the mashinani, and we call them mashinani agents, and they're able to take your deposits at that point where you're doing your business. So you don't have to go looking for a branch. Out of the 97 branches we have an additional 500 agents who will be able to bank for that customer.
Now, from where you sit, and as I'm looking as a banker, and you're approaching the youth who would tell you, I do not have money to save. Do we wait until we have money, or is there, how would you answer that question? You're asking me to save, I have no money.
That comes to what we're talking about today, Global Money Week. And when you look at that culture, you have to start from there. When you look at raising awareness and the importance of ensuring that the young people understand from an early age and that they're financially aware and they accept and get that discipline, that's when you should start. Because once you have the culture in place and that understanding, then it's very easy. So that when you go to the workplace or when you're doing your normal business and you get 100 shillings or 200 shillings, you can say, I'll spend 80 shillings, 20 shillings I will save. I will get 1,000 bob today, I will save 200. So roughly what I'm talking about, if you put like 20% of whatever amount you're having, and when you start from that small, when this money grows, it will be much easier for you to save, because the culture will have been with you, the discipline will have been with you, and it will be very easy. And as the British used to say, take care of the pennies and the shillings will take care of themselves. So if you learn to take care of those pennies when it's still small, when you reach to the shillings, it'll be much easier for you to save.
So what I'm hearing in your sensitization program, or rather awareness program, is that you're not targeting necessarily those who are already working. You're talking at a demographic that even hasn't started earning, so that we can have and we can be encultured to actually save. Correct?
Yes, definitely.
Now let's come back to the saving instruments. Word on the street is you'll see most people wanting to save in assets as land. Yes. And there are those who would want to save within SACCOs, saying that the rates are good. From a banker, maybe you can now tell us the truth. What we do not hear whenever we walk into our various credit institutions, so to speak. Where would you advise a person who has just immediately started working and wants to save for the future?
All of these are personal preferences, and also taking personal discipline, because if I'm to say that I'm saving in my own savings account, this money in a bank is available to me 24/7. So if I don't have the discipline of saying I'm not going to touch that money,
we often don't. We do not have that discipline.
Half the time is I'll save it when it reaches 5, 10, 20,000. A need will come up and I'm going to remove it. So if I know I don't have that discipline of being able to say I will not be able to foot 1 or 2 bills with these savings, then I will be able to save. Then there are those others who have this tendency of saying it's better it's removed early enough and be taken to a cooperative, because if you want to get money from the cooperative, the minimum it will take you is 6 months, and you'll have guaranteed other people. So that means until those other people finish repaying their loans, you will not have access to that money. So there are those people who will say, okay, let me put it here, save it, and then when I grow old, when I've stopped guaranteeing other people, then I'll take this money out of the institution. Then there are those who will say, okay, the interest rates in bonds are good. Yes, I'll go to central bank and then I'll be buying bonds and then I'll be saving as I grow. But the easiest, and I say the journey usually starts with the bank. If you learn to save, because for you to build up that capacity, you need to start learning from what I said, from those small amounts. Let it build up to a substantial amount. Then you can go for these other instruments in savings, which will offer you better attractive rates. I was just looking at a calculation today. If you to save 100 shillings, let's say you are a boda person or you're makanga somewhere, and you're earning 200-300 bob a day. If you put 100 shillings a day out of 30 days, you will be having 3,000. At the end of the year, you'll be having 36. And if you put an interest of 5%, you will be having almost 38,000. Mm-hmm. Look at that in 10 years, you'll be having almost 500,000 shillings. So if you do that, you'll just be saving what you're able to afford, but put it in an instrument where you say, this one I'll not be able to touch. And when you look at some of the products we have at Postbank, there are those which will give you those returns, mm-hmm. and they will not make that money available to you. If you have to come, then you have to come to the bank and fill in forms. There's a process. There's a process, and you'll have some penalties on it, which will discourage you from removing the funds. So we've structured all those products to suit the needs and
of your various clientele or other savers by characteristic and state. Yeah. Now, as you work towards the close of this particular conversation, it's a current Global Money Week, and Postbank is charged with, inculcating a savings culture. Will we achieve? Where do you see us in the next 5 years when it comes to savings?
The journey has started. When you look at Vision 2030, yes, the government put in place mechanisms to ensure that Kenyans at least reach that goal of 30%. When you look at us in terms of where we are in the region, we are way behind. When you look at us in the global index, the global index rate is around 23-24%. We are almost 10% off that. So we have a journey that we need to move as a country. I know for us at Postbank, we've been targeting schools, we've been going there, we've been targeting groups, and also employers who have opportunities for us to come in and train their personnel or their staff. We normally go and train them. And when you look at our branches, we have 97. We are available in all corners of the country. We are available and able. So we go to the marketplace and we talk to the people there. The good thing with us, we are talking about savings. Half the people who want credit also attend, so that they also learn that before you even go for credit, make some savings. Because money is expensive. If you have to go out there to look for it, it's very expensive. Why don't you save the little that you're able to get so that you save yourself from borrowing, which is expensive?
Very well said. And we end it at that note. We have been speaking to none other than the Managing Director at Post Bank, that is Raphael Lekolol, saying that in as much as you do not have so much in your pocket, just 20% of what you have. If it's 100 shillings, 20% of 100 shillings is 20 shillings. So think about 20% of what you have and save it. As I say, money is expensive, especially if you do not have savings. It's a Global Money Week that runs from the 20th to the 26th. Now, talking about investment, is that President William Ruto has lauded the launch of the Imara I-Rate that is targeting affordable housing. He went on to say that this is going to increase liquidity to pensioners and investors and also boost affordable housing.
Of the LAP Trust Imara Real Estate Investment Trust is the culmination of commendable collaboration among industry stakeholders in pursuit of innovative instruments that enhance the credibility, competitiveness, liquidity, and efficiency of our capital markets. To place this event in context, it is important to appreciate the role of a well-developed financial sector in powering national economic development. The presence of deep and efficient markets is a fundamental precondition for further economic growth. Kenya's financial sector is strong, competitive, and I say vibrant as well. That the law that existed was actually the biggest impediment to any privatization. It's a law that has been there for the last almost 15 years, and it has made it impossible for any divestiture to happen and for any democratization of what is owned by government to be undertaken. Yesterday in Cabinet, we approved a new law that will provide mechanisms for Kenyans to own part of what is Kenya. And I am looking forward to the Nairobi Stock Exchange, to the Securities Exchange here, to provide the necessary capital for Kenyans to buy into these entities. The Securities Exchange today underscores the understanding that as a strategic actor in the economy, the capital markets fraternity is going to play a central role in supporting our economic recovery in the short term and national socio-economic transformation in the long term. With its impressive diversified product offering, I am confident that the NSC can facilitate investors to construct strong portfolios across a broad range of globally attractive investment products. Like other developed markets, our capital markets now offers quasi as well as advanced products, including real estate investment trusts, exchange-traded funds, and derivatives. It is clear, therefore, that the NSC is the ideal institution to power our economic resurgence and finance our national socio-economic transformation. It is also clear that the NSC has invested intentionally to position itself as the most attractive hub of highly attractive local, regional, and international market activity.
We'll have a comprehensive report at our subsequent bulletins. Now, Parliament is set to probe all contracts signed between Kenya Power and independent power producers and report in 3 months' time. Further, the Energy Committee wants Kenya Power to be stopped from signing any new contract with IPPs until the inquiry is completed.
There is need to put in place policies, strategies, and regulatory measures for better planning to moderate the cost of electricity and enable access to energy by all, particularly in the manufacturing sector, to ease the cost of production and doing business.
The greatest problem today that we face in Kenya with respect to PPAs or power purchase agreements is what we call conflict of interest.
It is not just about the IPPs. It is about a well-calculated system of cartels who have managed to thrive in this business and even tried to use all possible means to frustrate the process of getting affordable power.
We want competition. There is a limit supply of power, Madam Speaker, in our country. You will even be told you will have power for 2 days. Other 3 days there will be no power because we are doing this and that, there will be maintenance. But if we had many companies competing for the same, when this other company is doing the repairs and all kind of stuff, the other companies will be offering the same and there will be competition.
These agreements ensure they have only one purpose, these PPAs, they have only one purpose, to ensure that the producers make a profit and a huge profit at that, without regard completely for the cost to the consumers.
Hit squad tactician Musa Benjamin has criticized the referees in charge of the 2018 Commonwealth Games bronze medalist Christine Ongare round of 16 bout following the boxers' elimination in the IBA Women's World Boxing Championship. Ongare's medal aspirations were extinguished after failing to Turkey's Erivian Barut in the pre-quarters at the KD Jadav Indoor Hall in New Delhi, India.
The 2018 Commonwealth Games bronze medalist made a frantic attempt to assert authority in the brief minimum weight encounter that was characterized by a number of punches. However, Barut claimed a quick victory, stopping the Kenyan in the first round after an 8-standing count. Musa termed the referee's decision as ridiculous, while Ongare claimed she was robbed in broad daylight.
I don't know kama ni pre-judgment wakati wa mchezo referee anaangalia anaona tu kwamba watu wengine tayari washapoteza hata kabla mchezo hujaanza au sielewi.
Yeye alikuwa akisema stop. Kuna sasa tulikuwa tunangangana hiyo over yangu ikishika akanilalia nikampiga ndo nikajaribu kutana akakuja kama amenilalia na mwili hapo ndio amerudi akasema stop. So ndio unaona hata niligeuka nikamwangalia. But sasa kama athlete sina say yoyote, ilibidi ni accept Kenya amedecide.
Musa also lashed out the organizers for bearing him from the ringside for the remainder of the tournament. Ongare ambled Tanzania's Rama Maganga on her way to the round of 16. Barut will now take on Tokyo Olympian Yasmin Motaki, who beat Martha Lopez of Spain in the round of 16. It was another painful exit of the Kenyan pugilist, with 10 boxers having already booked their early flights.
Mombasa Amputee Football Club will take on Sauti Para Sports Club Tanzania in a friendly match on the 29th of April at the Uhuru Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Captain Albert Kalama says the team is currently on an intensive training ahead of the tour of Tanzania. Club chairman Anthony Owando called on the county government of Mombasa for financial assistance to cater for the team expenses while in Tanzania. On his part, Mombasa Amputee Football Club Secretary Jeffrey Commander said his vision is to see the team players go professional. The friendly match is a build-up ahead of the Confederation of African Cup for amputee football. The team will be camping in Mombasa for training at the Mbaraki Sports Club from the 13th to the 23rd of April before departure.
Operation ambayo iko saizi iko tu poa, and I want to assure you we are going to take the cup to come with it here in Mombasa County.
Tunaendelea kujipanga, tunaendelea kujiweka katika position, na tunapanga kwamba tarehe 13 tuingie katika camp. Tuwe camp kuanzia tarehe 23, tuanze tarehe 13 mpaka tarehe 23. Tuwe hapa uwanjani tukifanya practice, tukijiweka tayari.
That puts a cap on March's lunchtime news this afternoon. Be sure to tune in our subsequent comprehensive bulletins running from 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. I've been your host, Regina Manyara. I wish you a pleasant viewing ahead.
Becoming quite annoying, Oligario. I will not allow my plans to crumble all because of you.
Please tell your father to call me. I would like to talk to him, you see.
Because I'm like the one the priest prays to. I find out everything.
Do you know what? Brace yourself. Because this is like in the novels. Because this story is only just the beginning.
Ben? Ruben, are you there?
Uko shule saa hizi?
Basi nilofukuzwa na mama wa huko.
Unaniambia sababu naitisha kuku mara 3 kwa saa nyingine kwa wiki kwa mwezi. So it is us parents who are feeding you. Sio?
No, you're not feeding us. We are helping your kids to know how to cook.
Senior chief. Kuka. Can see.
Kwa shule inaenda wapi?
Hiyo kuku akikuja kwa shuleni, mwalimu anachukua ile kuku mtoto. Inasomesha mtoto.
Hata kucha tunatengenezanga nazo necklace.
Hayo yote mnachukua.
Kucha za kuku. Na manyoya ya kuku pia tunatengenezanga nayo pilo.
Kuna bilibili hapa ni wewe amechapa mwalimu sababu ya kutuma mtoto wako nyumbani.
Ambiwa walete ng'ombe mheshimiwa. Itakuwa ni mzuri.
Watoto waambiwa walete ng'ombe.
Vitu kwa kuku mheshimiwa.
Hujambo mpenzi mtazamaji wa KBC Channel 1. Nikitumai kwamba mzima tangu juma lililopita tulipokuwa pamoja. Ni juma lingine tunakutana kulikunjua jamvi letu la mkulima. Tukiwa tayari kujifunza mbinu tofauti za kilimo na teknolojia zinazoimarisha afya. Kama desturi, mie ni wako Frederick Mbadha. Karibu. Kila wakati sisi usisitiza na hatutasita kuwakumbusha uzuri wa kilimo mjini. Mbali na kukupa wewe mboga safi kila wakati na kujua kiini cha mimea yako, unaweza ukawauzia majirani wako mboga na kujipatia hela. Eneo ni la Juja. Vijana hawa baada ya kuhitimu masomo yao waliamua kukivulia nguo kilimo mjini. Si kwa sababu ya masomo waliopata, bali pia kwa mapenzi walionayo kwa kilimo. Wacha tuone wanachokifanya.
Kilimo mjini ama ufugaji mjini ni njia ya upanzi wa mimea, maua ama ufugaji wa mifugo na kuuza bidhaa mjini. Njia hii husaidia kupunguza uhaba wa chakula, utapia mlo na lishe bora, huku ukijipatia mapato. Eneo la Juja kuna kikundi cha vijana wanaozingatia kilimo hiki.
Hapa tunahusika na upanzi wa mboga, pia upanzi wa maua. Jambo ambalo tunajaribu kulileta linaitwa foodscaping, ambapo tunatumia baadhi ya mboga ambazo zinaliwa na pia maua ambayo tunatumia nayo kufanya environment ikuwe nzuri ama kubeautify now the places in our gardens.
Maeneo mengine mjini huenda yawe kame, lakini hilo si sababu ya kutozingatia kilimo. Ukitembea mjini, licha ya majumba mengi, bado kuna vijisehemu ambavyo unaweza kuvitumia vizuri kupanda mboga, kwani hazihitaji sehemu kubwa.
Tunapanda mboga za kienyeji na zile mboga za Ulaya ama let me say exotic vegetables. Hizo ni mboga ambazo zinapandwa nchi za ng'ambo ama nchi za nje, alafu sasa na tuna integrate na zetu za kienyeji za Kiafrika. Mfano ni kama kunde ama cowpeas, tunapanda mchicha ama terere, pia tunapanda mnavu ama managu ambayo ni African nightshade, pia tunapanda saget. Na tukienda ambazo mboga za nje ama the exotic ones, kuna sukuma, kuna Swiss chard ambayo watu wanaijua kama spinach, then kuna sasa matunda vitu kama cucumber, thorn melons, tukisema dania.
Kupata wateja wa bidhaa zako mjini ni rahisi sana kama tu yule mkulima kijijini. Huenda hata ikawa rahisi sana kuliko mkulima wa kijijini, kwani vijijini huenda kila mtu ni mkulima na mfugaji.
Shamba letu liko eneo la Juja, ambapo makazi ambapo tuko ni urban setup. Sasa watu ambao wanatuzingira wengi na wale watu wa mjini. Soko letu tunategemea majirani ambao wanahusika, wanatuzingira, ambao mojawapo ni wakufunzi kutoka Jomo Kenyatta University ama wafanyikazi kutoka Jomo Kenyatta University na pia wanafunzi wa Jomo Kenyatta University.
Nao ili kupata mafanikio zaidi katika kijisehemu chao hiki kidogo, wamezingatia mbinu mbalimbali. Kuna hii mbinu ya raised bed garden. Hiyo ni kuinua kijisehemu kidogo juu kwa kutumia mbao, kisha kujaza sehemu hiyo mchanga, halafu kupanda mimea yako. Mbinu nyingine ni unyunyizi wa maji kwa njia ya drip.
Mbinu ambayo tunatumia kwanza naenda kwa mbinu ya maji. Tunatumia drip irrigation ambayo ni mbinu ambayo inasaidia kupunguza matumizi mengi ya maji. Ina minimize maji. Mbinu nyingine tunatumia ni vertical farming. Hii mbinu ya ukulima tunajaribu kuongeza na idadi ya mimea